Hey folks, today we're talking about shapes. A shape is just a line that comes back around to where it started, and it closes some space on the inside. Shapes can have all sorts of edges. They can have straight edges, like a triangle. They can have curvy edges, like whatever that thing is. They can even have straight edges and curvy edges, as long as it comes back to where it started. If it does that, then it's a shape. And shapes can be as interesting or as plain as you want them to be. Depends on how you're going to use them. So today we're going to make an artwork that focuses on different kinds of shapes. For part one of this artwork, we don't need much in the way of supplies. We need a piece of paper, any size you have would be fine, and a pencil. And I happen to bring a spare just in case I broke one. What we're going to accomplish in part one is also not very complicated. Part one is just to draw 6 shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, that doesn't take very long. But is that really the best that we could do? We can actually take the time to make some really good decisions. So let's rewind that and start all over again. Perfect. So we're going to draw 6 shapes, but we're going to take our time. The first thing we need to be aware of is that we're going to draw large shapes. We're going to try to fill this whole piece of paper. There is going to be some space in between the shapes, but we're going to try to fill the entire piece of paper. And remember that there are lots of different kinds of shapes. So we could have shapes that are relatively simple, like this smooth, flowing shape right here. We could also have shapes that have straight edges. If you noticed, one thing I did with my second shape was that I drew it in relation to my first one. So I bent this edge to go around the shape that was here before. That shows that these two shapes are working together. Another thing that's fun is to try to overlap shapes if you can. So let's make a weird shape over here. And I added this weird part that's sticking out because my next shape overlaps. And the area where it overlaps creates a new, smaller shape. Now, you might like squares and circles and triangles and rectangles, and it's okay to include some of those shapes in here. I don't really want to do that. But it's very important that you also try to make up your own shapes, because they're a lot more unique and interesting, and people might want to see them because they've never seen a shape like that before. So what else? The most important thing though, and we all know this, but we're going to repeat it just to make sure, and that is to be sure that every shape you draw is closed. It ends right where it started. If you don't close it, then it's not really a shape. It's just a line. Now let's see, my last shape, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, number 6. Look what problem I have right now though. These 3 shapes are connected together, so they're kind of like a group. These 2 shapes are separate over here. They're all by themselves. So I need something that's going to bring both sides of this paper together. And I believe the way I'm going to do that is by going through both sides of the artwork. And there are my 6 shapes. I took my time and it made it a lot more interesting than that first try I did with just 6 quick scribbly ovals. This is a lot better. So come back next week for part 2 and see how this artwork turns out.